Hello children, once again I welcome you in online history class, and we had already started chapter 8, and in chapter 8 we had seen about the decolonization in China, and in that we had discussed about that how China was defeated by Japan because Japan interest was in China because China was famous for its silk, and Japanese government wanted to have trade and wanted to control Manchuria. This also we had discussed because already there was a great wall. We can say the very heavy downfall came in the economy, world economy. Due to that, the trade was affected. But uh, Japan, he was interested in China because of its silk, and it wanted to have colonies also because of its trade purposes. But when China was defeated by Japan, why? Because Manchuria, the proper place of China, was controlled by Japan, and ultimately it was taken over by Japan. So a kind of a rebellion started in uh, China. We had already discussed about it that two personalities came up. One was Sun Yat-sen, and Sun Yat-sen was a doctor of medicine, and he wanted to help the Chinese. So he was made president, and he wanted to bring awareness among the Chinese against Japanese because the Japan government was controlling over the China. And moreover, later when there was already the publicity was made by Sun Yat-sen, so he was looking forward for a able journal, so he resigned from the presidentship. We had already discussed, and Huan Singh was made a able journal, but during some circumstances this Yuan became the dictator, and he wanted to take away all the power of China in his hand. So Sun Yat-sen did not like it, and ultimately the Sun Yat-sen again became the leader as a president of China. And later how the communist parties and the communist government was also introduced in China, this all we had discussed. So today we are going to start the second part of this chapter, and in this we will discuss about the decolonization in Ghana, Africa. And first of all, I would like to tell you about the what is meant by decolonization. The decolonization means first of all colonies. What colonies? When one country traders used to settle in other countries for trade purposes, right? So they used to set up their factories, they used to set up their storehouses, they used to set up their colonies, residence. So in this way, just for trade purposes, the people of one country used to settle in other country. For example, in India, we had British colonies, but the mother country was India, and Britishers were called the colonial people till East India Company was ruling. Later they became the master, so the power was changed. So in this way it said in South Africa there were many countries forming their colonies, and especially there was a leading role was taken up by France and British, and these two were controlling maximum territories, maximum colonies were set up by them. Why? Because they were attracted towards the rubber and gold. These two were the main minerals which attracted the traders of other countries. So already Britishers and France were there. They were having kind of a competition who will control the maximum area of South Africa. Then we had also seen in this chapter that how the traders or the people from Germany, from Spain, from Holland, from Italy, they all came up. Why? For trade purpose, and gradually they set up their colonies in South Africa. Now, this was the background. Now, the lesson starts from here that what had happened. There was a place, Gold Coast. This was a very popular place in South Africa. And Britishers had taken a possession over Gold Coast area, right? And what had happened, there was already private African company of merchants. You have to just pay attention that Britishers have taken up the possession of Gold Coast area from whom? From the private African company of merchants. And when this thing has happened, this possession has been taken up. And meanwhile, what had happened? Second World War broke out. And when Second World War broke out, so the British African colonies. What does it mean? That the Britishers who settled their colonies in South Africa, they fought on behalf of Britishers with the allied countries against whom? Against the Axis powers. Right? So already Britishers have controlled where? In Africa, and they formed their colonies and they were known as British African colonies who supported Britishers to fight for allied countries against the Axis powers. Getting it? So what had happened then? There was one more place in Africa. The name is Accra. And this Accra was the capital of Ghana. Right? So this Ghana was also controlled by the Britishers because they have taken up some kind of commitment from the company of merchants. Right? But side by side, if we see the changes, what had happened, the students of America, they went to USA and England to get study. And when they were studying there, they come to know about the ideas of nationalism. So when they came back from England and America, so they spread very rapidly the idea of nationalism because these colonial people were exploiting the Africans. They were taken away the sovereignty, the dignity, or we can say the prosperity of Africa. So when the people, especially rich people, Africans people, they came to know about the idea of nationalism. So a kind of a movement was started. Movement for what? To get freedom from the colonial people. And what had happened? One person, Joseph, he was African leader along with the other political leaders. He formed United Gold Coast Convention in August 1947. Why Gold Coast Convention? Because Gold Coast place was already captured by whom? By the Britishers. So this Joseph, along with the other political leaders, arranged one convention regarding the Gold Coast in August 1947. And Joseph invited Nkrumah. Nkrumah was there in 1948, and this Nkrumah was invited as a representative of the proper government, democratic government. And now Nkrumah and Joseph, they both together collected many people along with them, and they started spreading the ideas of nationalism. They were awareing the people about the independence of African colonies. Now here it says, when what had happened, when Joseph along with the other leaders, they were carrying notice to the governor, to the mayor, about the grievances of the African people. So the police fight on a peaceful procession. In this, when it was objected by Nkrumah and Joseph, so they were put up in the jail. So in 1948, it says Nkrumah played a very important role to support Joseph for the liberation of the African colonies. In 1949, it says Convention of People's Party and National Liberation Movement. These two parties were formed by whom? Nkrumah. So Nkrumah became the hero of the African people, and with the effort of Nkrumah, it said that the not only the liberation movement was started, the liberation party was set up there, but he was made the total in charge of the government. Elections were held, he became the president, and in the beginning he was supporting the people. He was in making efforts to make the Ghana as an independent country. And due to the efforts of Joseph and Nkrumah, along with the other political leaders, in 1956 to 1957, that Ghana was declared as an independent country, and it got independence. And when Ghana became independent country, it was a bad effect on the colonial people, because there was democratic institution was set up, the constitution was there, they had their own authorities who could decide the fate of African country, and moreover especially about the Ghana, who got recent independence from the clutches of the Britishers. Because the Britishers not only having trade, not only they settled the colonies over there, but they were in we can say greed of capturing more and more areas of South Africa, because South Africa was not very we can say very army wise strong, very economic wise strong, but its mineral attracted them. And what were the main two source of income? The gold and rubber. So here it says especially the Gold Coast, that was the main area which was captured by Britishers. And due to that, like when they came to India as a trader, so there was so many wars were fought between France and England, which were known as Carnatic Wars. You must have studied in very lower classes. And automatically everywhere the Britishers wanted to get maximum profit, and they control the maximum market of Africa. But later, with the role of Joseph and with the role of Nkrumah, they were able to start the national liberation movement, and many people joined it. National liberation movement, because they were now aware about the nationalism. If they will get freedom, if they will become independent, so automatically there will be a rise in economy, and the African countries will also be prosper. So in this way, what we are seeing the role, tomorrow I will take up that in the beginning, and Nkrumah was on the support of the people. He was the president of the government, but later the greediness or the kind of a dictatorship came up in the mind of Nkrumah, and how there was a downfall of Nkrumah, and what type of government was set up in Ghana. So I think today is enough for you to understand, because this chapter, first we have to see about Africa, and then later we'll move towards the other countries where the colonial people were there, where the other countries set up their colonies, and they were capturing the minerals. They were controlling the trade in the proper countries of Africa. So for today is enough for you, and tomorrow I'll come up with the role of Nkrumah once again, and how there was a downfall, and what type of government was set up in Ghana. And I have to give you some question answers also. So tomorrow this topic will be completed, and I will give you some more questions to write in your notebook as a practice. So please continue your work and complete your work, and the children who have not completed the work and I have not signed the notebooks, please get ready with the work, complete work. So that's all for today. Stay safe and happy.